What's up, guys? In the epoxy over cork video, we took these really nice custom cork grips and coated them with epoxy to protect them. Now it's time to take it to the extreme. That's next. The clear epoxy over the cork looks great, but I'm going to take it to the next level. Maybe a crazy level, but yeah, you can decide. What I've done is I have mixed up 12 milliliters of epoxy, the Diamond 2 finish. I have my 4 marbling pigment colors set out. There's a silver, there's a pink, there's a white, and a black. I have a black metal flake that I'm going to put in the black. I've got my mixing cups. I've got a few extra tools out. My pick. I've got my marbling mud, and we're just about ready with this epoxy. The opaque is gone, it's turning clear. The first thing I will do is I'm going to separate some of this epoxy off in the other colors. So this will be the gray. That'll be the pink. This will be the white. And whatever I have left over when I'm done putting the clear will be the black. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a base layer of clear down as quick as possible because you do have some time limitations with this. The other thing I did is I taped off any of the areas of the blank that I did not want epoxy on, and got that out of the way first. And I put little flag ends on them so I can pull the tape very easily while the epoxy is still wet. Make a nice clean edge between epoxy and bare blank. Now I'm coating this pretty heavy. I'm going to scrape it off in just a minute to get it back down to a nice thin coat. It's the base layer for the pigmented epoxy and the marbling mud, just to get it to slide around the blank and make a really cool effect, I hope. If you want to see more detail about how to do these, there's a video I did about marbling about a month ago. It'll give you step by step in how to get started with the marbling pigments. But this is going to be a little different. Kind of have a pattern in mind. It's more like an urban camo pattern. It is in pink. It's my daughter's rod. She requested a new rod for her birthday, so it's going to be an early birthday present for her. Okay, so that's on there now, nice and flat. I'm going to cover these cork grips again because I am going to bring some of the marbling pigment up on the edges of the cork, which I think is going to be a really neat look. I've never done this before, so if it fails miserably, you were there to watch it fail.
But when it comes to her, you better keep it sealed. Don't you dare say a thing.
Now, epoxy's about 6 minutes old now, so I'm watching the clock. I don't want this epoxy to cook off on me too quickly. And I'm still just putting my base layer down. See, there was a spot that was a little thin. I'm getting my base layer down. I'm getting all the big clumps of epoxy off and making sure I've got a nice even base layer on the grips and on this bare blank in between the grips. This grip's got a little dry spot there. Now, time to start mixing some colored epoxy. I'm taking my pigment here. This is the silver pigment. I'm going to lay it down first. Taking my X-Acto knife and being completely inexact about how I'm measuring because I'm just trying to get some color in, that's all. While I've got it open, I'm going to go ahead and get all of these sprinkled in here. That is a very bright pink. I'm also going to put a little bit of the metal flake black into the black container just to give a little sparkle on the finish epoxy. It's the last color I'm going to use, so it'll be over top of everything else. Okay, I've not put it in the dry mode yet because I'm still trying to get it to run. Make sure I didn't have too much extra anywhere. Looks good. Okay, it's time to start mixing. So the first one I want to do is I'm going to put a little pink base down without the marbling mud in it. Get that mixed up. I'm just going to drop a few spots of the pink into the clear base. And then I'll get that turning. And this is going to swirl pretty good as it turns. I don't want too much because I want to leave a lot of black exposed. But I want to do some of it. Now I'm going to take my pick and I'm going to drag this pink in some just different directions. And once it starts turning, it'll move all around. Drag that back out this way. Drag this one this way. Alright, so that should start swirling pretty nicely. And put a little silver down as well without marbling mud. Just a touch here and there. Mostly around the area of the cork. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to smear and drag it with my pick. Okay, I like the way that looks. Now it's time to start with the marbling mud. So we're going to get a little bit of marbling mud here. And the bigger stick makes it a little easier. Alright, let's put it in dry. Get it turning. And change speeds. I'm going to slow it down here. So I'm going to take a little bit of marbling mud. Probably too much. I'm going to mix it into pink. It'll get stringy. Watching the time. I'm at about 12 minutes now. So now we got some stringy pink. And I'm just going to pull it. I'm just laying it down in kind of a random pattern, but it's going to have a little bit of purpose to the direction it's going. I don't know how it's going to look when we're done, but we'll find that out in a little bit. Just pulling, letting it pull the strings. And I went a little too heavy with the marbling mud on that small amount of epoxy, and it's really setting off quick on me. But stringy is good when it comes to marbling mud, so hopefully this works out okay. Okay, now for the pink for now. Wow, that is really stringy. Time's wasting. Gotta get in here on the silver. Just a little bit of marbling mud this time on the silver. Mixed up really quickly. And we're gonna just string this silver over some of this other color. Get in the marbling mud again and get some white going. White up here. Everything's getting really stringy. The clock's running out on my epoxy. I'm in a rush here. Now we got the black and the sparkles left. I'm gonna do a little silver up top here. Just add just a splash of silver in it. Maybe a touch back on top of this. And I'm making a huge mess. Do not do this at the kitchen table. And then for the final color is a little marble mud. And we're going into black. Gonna get a little bit more mud to stiffen that up.
I've been a real bad boy on the town all night. Starting to calm down with the morning light. I'm in the dirt, down in the dirt.
There you have it, guys. Epoxy over cork to the extreme. I'll let this cure overnight. I'll put a clear coat of epoxy over the top of it to protect it. And we'll be ready to put a handle on this baby. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.